Wong's my first guy I had on my list, mate. Who have you got?
Mate, a bloke that I know you're pretty keen on, and I'm pretty happy to say my first picked player this year, Sean Lane.
Yeah.
Starts the year priced at $446,000, $446K, I should say. 10 games last year, averaged 61 minutes, an injury-plagued year, averaged 44 points. The year prior, in 77 minutes per game, averaged 69 points per game. That was a breakout year for him, that 2022, where it was just outstanding. Such an important piece of that Parramatta puzzle. Back forming that combination with Dylan Brown full-time this year. I expect an 80-minute edge back row role, heaps of attacking upside, straight into my team.
Yep, and I think he should come straight in with Dill Brown for me. I'll be having both of them in my side.
Jeez, you love a combination.
I love a combo. Yeah, I think half back rower, if you're going to back a back rower in to do well, if you're going to back a back rower like Sean Lane with attacking upside, why not go Dill Brown?
He's so cheap. Are you thinking Dill Brown at $780K to start at 5'8"?
I'm not thinking he's locked in. I will have Dill Brown. Assuming Sean Lane starts on the left edge, which I think it's pretty safe to say, I will have both of them. You look at Sean Lane, as you said, 69 average in 2022. Yeah, he scored a heap of tries that year. He's fucking 8'7". He's going to score tries. Yeah. It's going to happen. He's got attacking upside. He's coming back from injury. I hear all this shit from people. Let's say he is 13 points below his average from 2022, which is a pretty big jump down. It still puts him at like a 55 average base with a price at 43. It's huge.
Barring injury, I do not see how you go wrong.
Yeah, I think it's slam dunk, this one.
Absolute worst case, he somehow doesn't make money. He's not going to lose money.
Yeah.
So safe.
Mate, my last eye catcher, and this will probably sound stupid to people, but fuck, Kalyn Ponga. Bro, last year, when playing fullback, he averaged 105. He could be a borderline fucking cash cow, KP. The other thing I love about KP is that night side, it hasn't changed. Spine's the same. The only thing that has changed for him is that Lachlan Fitzgibbon goes away on that edge. I believe he'll have Tyson Frizzell. That's an uptick for him, in my opinion. The only other change is that Dom Young isn't on the right edge, and the reality is that the vast majority of work the KP does is on the left side. I think KP absolutely explodes again this year. He'd be my red hot favourite for a back-to-back Dally M if he stays conscious.
Always a big factor in winning Dally M's.
Yeah.
Then again, last year it wasn't, was it? Did anyway.
He was conscious. He was unconscious for half the year. He wasn't even in the country for half the year.
Didn't always kick goals last year either. So you can add that to it as well. As you said, like if Dom Young leaves from the right edge, so that edge weakens a little bit. That left edge, we had a bit of a chat about on the Bloke Potty on Monday, but Marju, Best, if Frizzell ends up on that left edge as well, it is like, where's all the ball going to go?
Yeah.
It's going to go to the left edge. It's Ponga's stronger edge, I should say. He's going to be hard to ignore. I don't know if I could sit there for the first month of the season and have my 2024 season ruined by Kalyn Ponga within a month after he destroyed it last year. So just for that reason, I almost nearly have to start with him.
Since goal kicking at the Newcastle Knights, it was the last 8 or 9 games of the season, he scored below 90 once.
Do you currently have KP, Cleary, Nico in your team?
Yep. Now, and it's a little bit hypocritical because I am very loud on...
You're a dog, we know that.
Yeah, I'm a out-and-out dog.
Established that a long time ago.
I am very loud on that these guys, they probably won't have their highest scores to start the season. But once again, they are 3 guys that I know I'm going to want. They're 3 guys that I know I'm going to want for the entire season, and I am happy to start with them and leave them there for the year.
Yeah, there's 2 things about that, and it's starting with top dollar players who probably aren't going to make cash. I said Ponga, on last year's numbers that you just read out, he could make cash.
Yep.
Nico, Cleary, their price at their peak, they could go up a bit. Like, we know they've got it in them, but realistically, you're paying top dollar for them. The difference about paying for these guys is, as opposed to particularly forwards and other players in the game, they've got this enormous upside where they've got their 150 pluses in them. Captains, if they've got this golden matchup and they're flying and you captain them for one of their 150s or 180s, whatever it might be, enormous benefit. So, yeah, Ponga's, it's going to be a fun position to talk about throughout the preseason fullback because there are a lot of great options, but KP, he's a freak.
What about the Rook over here making some fucking noise?
Rook, yeah, a little bit of...
Didn't get attention for 10 seconds and start throwing things around.
I know. I'm just confident.
Confident.
Yeah.
Reminds me a bit of you, actually.
Oh.
Camera wasn't on you for a few seconds, do something rogue, buy KP for $1 million, get the attention back on you.
I just cough anytime I want the camera.
Loves the camera.
It's not actually an issue. I just want the camera.
Yeah, KP. Yeah, I am starting with KP and a couple of those big dogs. And I've managed to do it in a way where I've got money where I could. You know, the other thing I think with those halfbacks, especially in KP as well, like I just look at halfback and I've got people messaging me going, I'm going to go cheap in Aiden Caesar. And I'm like, ugh. Mad. Like, there's every chance that doesn't work for you. Like,
when he has the buy round one and then doesn't get picked for round two.
Doesn't get picked, yeah. Like, or like, there's just so many. I don't think at the moment there are not genuine cheapies in those spots that I think you can move to get those guys. Jules, we are lacking a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be sitting there in round 5 and 6 going, holy fuck, I've made 8 cents on Bud Sullivan and Aiden Caesar, and now I can't get to the superstar scoring 150 every week.
Exclusive on the Beers and Breakhaven podcast. You actually go up in cents this year. They've really fine-tuned it over at themselves over at Supercoach HQ.
Oh, I can see it playing out like that, and I want to avoid it, and I want to have there 3 to 4 trades that I want to have at the end of the year.
On the fullback spot, I just want to touch on one other player just because I've had mixed preseason thoughts about him. Coming into the year, I was so keen to pay out for Reece Walsh because he's just a freak, and I think he'll do a Ponga wear because he's getting more experience in the game. He's getting more confident. He's getting better and better and better. You know, he had a few like 40s in his game last year. The games that he did, like he was an inch away from that 40 being 120. And I'm like, screw it. He's a big prize. People might not pay out for him because of Ponga, Cleary, Hines, etc. And then I looked into it and I was like, the Vegas impact, the smaller field, round 1, Broncos open the season with Roosters, Bunnies, Panthers, Cowboys, Storm, Dolphins, who we know the Dolphins will get up for that game. And I just went, I wanted him so bad. I think we're going to have to pot him with all those factors.
If I was a betting man, I would say you still end up with him. You love Reece Walsh. So you love Reece Walsh more than Reece Walsh loves Reece Walsh, which is wild.
It's a big call, probably valid.
Huge call.
Yeah, so it's possible. I don't think it will happen because of Vegas. I'm also terrified as to what the players are going to get up to in Vegas and who is going to be the first one to be barred for 3 games for carrying on like a pork chop.
Yeah, you probably won't get many girls over there too.
No, so. I don't reckon. No. Nah. So, yeah, I'm going cold on Reece Walsh, but a nice little, hopefully, round 6-7 target.
Reece Walsh is still a guy for me. Last year when he was really cheap at that point, we're able to bring him in. I was on board, but I just don't look at him the same as Hines, Cleary, KP, Turbo. Maybe I'm wrong, but this Broncos team, I think, I'm not sure how it's going to go for Brisbane. I think they'll be a top 4 side, but mate, history tells us with a young team, you lose a grand final, it can be costly at times. I mean, you have a look at, the last 2 teams to be in a grand final before Brisbane were Parramatta and South Sydney. Both missed the fucking finals this year. Penrith make staying at the top look easy. Yeah. It's not.
I think everything that you've just said is just a ploy to appeal to my competitive side to make me go, screw you, I'm getting Reece Walsh.
I'd love to say, I would be happy for you to take him.
I think Reece Walsh, conservative me of 2023 would have said averages 90 plus this year. I think he can average 95 plus this year. That being said, I think the damage is probably done from round 6 onwards.
Yep, I don't think he averages over 90. I'm very confident saying that. I think he'll be well below that. Mate, honestly, when I look at his games last year, he doesn't have a single game where he didn't play 80 minutes. So there's no reduced scores or anything in there. Could last year have gone any better for the Brisbane Broncos?
Probably not.
He averaged 80.
Yes, but he's also getting substantially better with every game of football that he plays. He's what, 21, 22 years old or something?
Yep.
I just think he's getting better and better and better.
He'd want to be. His last 5 games, he's base started 18, 13, 16, 17, 19.
Scott Drinkwater based about 6 per game and averaged about
Which
80.
is why I don't have Scott Drinkwater in that class either, though.
Yeah.
That's my worry, that when he goes low, he goes low. And yeah, you know what? You have a look in his last 5 or 6 weeks. He had 111, 123, 141, which I can get from some of these other absolute superstars as well. But they're not going to throw me out 22, 44, 33, 38, 23. That's my worry with Reece Walsh.
You know, other blokes that I'll name some stats from bloke. What are we? What was the year? 2022.
Yep.
Scores of 44, 9, 43, 35, 31, 50, 53. The top score of 86. His name was Kalyn Ponga, and he was older than Reece Walsh at the time, more settled, more experienced. Reece Walsh is only getting better, just like Kalyn Ponga did.
Yep. If Reece Walsh gains the goal kicking, I'm happy to have that conversation. I think his floor is too low for me. In a young side who's dealing with a lot of shit, they just let Kurt Capewell walk out the door too, which I think is a very interesting move, losing experience.
I'm not against the Broncos' regression either. I just think Walsh is going from strength to strength.
He is, yeah. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. He is going from strength to strength. I look at games here where he's had creative stats 44 and he had 38 in evading stats and he doesn't score 100. Like, he just has to do so much to score for me. Whereas I find these other guys, they just stack up points without doing fuck all, which maybe it's a Supercoach thing. I don't care, but it's just the reality of it.
Yeah. I'm pretty content on not going, despite all that, not going draw Vegas.
Yeah.
He's a big prize. So there are enough red flags there and he does have a low score on him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's worth it. But from like round 5, 6, lock and load.
And where I haven't looked at their draw yet, but there will be a point this year where Brisbane play St. George, the Titans. I don't want to offend anyone here, but 4 or 5 teams that are battling in a row, and then Reece Walsh becomes appealing.
They go from round 6. They go Dolphins, Raiders, Tigers. It's a pretty tough opening of the season because even then they go into Roosters, Para, Manly. God knows what they're going to throw up. It's a pretty tough opening to the year.